Hi, I'm standing outside St Barnabas Church. I'm in Jericho and Walton Street is in that direction, and then on the other side of it is the old University Observatory, which you can see. In this video I'm more concerned with the church's garden than with the church itself. This is number 4 in my Springwalk series of videos. It's a glorious day and apparently the weather is going to be good for the next few days, so I want to make some videos that are packed as full of sun and as full of new life as I can make them. And I remembered that St Barnabas has a really nice magnolia tree, and it just happens to be coming into bloom right now. I've caught it just at the right stage, and I can show you the blooms emerging from their buds and say a few things about spring buds in doing so. So here's the magnolia. There is one of its flowers. There is another. There are 2 more. There are a few more, some in the background, one in the foreground. And there is one in the distance, which probably won't show up very well. Magnolia flowers generally are big, round, saucer-shaped things, which these are clearly not. These are still very young flowers, and I've caught them in the process of emerging from their buds. So let's say a little bit about buds. Many trees, I'm not sure whether it's all, make buds the year before they open. So this magnolia would have made these buds last summer, ready for them to open this spring. And generally buds are protected so that what's in them doesn't get damaged during the winter. They usually have some sort of robust scale or possibly scales covering them, which are waterproof. These magnolia scales, there's just one scale apparently called a cap, and each scale is covered in loads of little tiny hairs. This may not show up very well, but you can see the light sort of halo around them, even if the image itself isn't clear. It's not a very good camera at close distance. And that's the effect of the tiny hairs. And apparently the magnolia uses these for insulation during the cold months. You can see that some of the buds are quite clearly flower buds. And the cap has split, or the caps have split, revealing the flowers underneath. It can also happen, I think, that the magnolia just pushes the cap right off. The flower pushes the cap right off. And there are large buds and there are smaller buds. So on this branch, that's a small bud, and the other ones are large buds. And I presume that the largest are going to turn into flower buds. They're just not quite ready yet. And the small ones are probably leaf buds. The magnolia wouldn't be much good without leaves. If it just had flowers, there'd be nothing to power them, and it would eventually run out of energy and die. But it's going to make new leaves too, and probably those are in the little buds. So that's magnolia buds. You've got leaf buds and flower buds, and the flowers are just coming out, and the leaves and flowers are protected by this scale, and in magnolias the scale has fur on it to add insulation. A few more things to say. Some of the buds are at the end of their stems. That one, for example, or more obviously the flower that I'm pointing at now, and that's what's called a terminal bud. And then some of the others are at the side of the main stem, such as the ones going down across the picture, and those are called side buds, or more formally lateral buds. Different types of tree have different arrangements of bud. You might get what are called opposite buds, where you've got two opposite each other part way up a stem, and then a gap, and then two more opposite each other, and then two more opposite each other, and so on. Or you might have what are called alternating, where you've got one bud and then a bit further up you've got another on the other side, and then you've got yet another on the first side, and so on. And different plants have different patterns, and you can use that for plant identification when you don't have much else to go on. And I'll show some of the patterns in later videos, because this is the best time of year to see them. But for the moment I just want to concentrate on the magnolia itself. Anyway, for any gardeners watching, one thing to say, I'm not sure how big the buds are when they first form, but probably not as big as this, because I've read that you should be very careful pruning magnolias, because you may remove a branch with a lot of flower buds, and then you won't have so many flowers in the next spring. So what I'm now going to do is I'm on my way to make another video, but I hope that I'll find some other magnolias, and when I do, I'll go on to those. So see you a bit later. Well, these are nothing to do with magnolias, but they're full of colour, and I'm going to show them anyway, because why not? Box of children's toys that somebody has left outside a house in Kingston Road. And I see one of them is a book on zombies for Minecraft, the game. And it did occur to me, having seen the picture on the cover, to ask whether one can make Lego zombies, whether Lego do a zombie kit, or whether they'd regard that as not wholesome enough for their nice Scandinavian toy. Anyway, I shall continue looking for magnolias and going on to my next video. Well, I'm some way northwards of where I was before. I'm now in Blenheim Drive, just facing onto the straight bit, the north-south bit round the corner. And for people who don't know it, Blenheim drive is a short piece of road in a sort of U shape with a tail at one end, off Woodstock Road, roughly opposite Squidgy Lane. And I had a feeling that Blenheim Drive would be somewhere that I'd find another Magnolia, and so it turned out. There's one opposite me. And this one is more in flower than the one I just showed you in St Barnabas. Have a look at those. And this is a huge tree. And the clusters of flowers form a very elegant pattern, one following on from the next, and each flower bearing twig curling upwards at the end, like there. It sort of reminds me of Arabic written backwards. So I will count that as a success. That's a second Magnolia to compare with the first one, and it's more advanced. I have to say I quite like Blenheim Drive. It feels more spacious than most of the Summertown roads, including the posh ones like Hamilton Road and Portland Road, Lonsdale. You get the impression that many of the people living here might actually think of themselves as living on the driveway to Blenheim Palace, in little courtesy cottages or gatehouses perhaps. One great advantage of Blenheim Drive is that it has so little traffic. And here, just a little way along Blenheim Drive, is a third Magnolia, which fits into my picture rather more neatly. And this, like the second one, is also more advanced in flower. You can see that it's got quite a few flower heads on the way to being fully open. So I'm going to end this video in a moment. I said that I wanted to fill my videos with spring colour, and I've got another way of doing this beside the plants. This is the jacket that I'm wearing today, and like the stripy one that I showed in my Martinitsa Marzi Shore video on March the 1st, it came from Unicorn, and it's just about as colourful as that stripy one, and it's very cheerful for this sort of weather. It's made by Elegance or L'Elegance, formerly of Paris, but now I think taken over by an Arab company, and according to their website, no longer selling the same range of colourful goods as they used to. And this is a scarf, or you might want to call it a cravat. Which is equally colourful. So see you next time with more spring colours.